What is going on, folks? It's Caleb and Erica here coming at you for part 2 of Paris game hunting. If you missed part 1, I'm sure it's going to be in the suggestions somewhere on the side here if YouTube is doing its job. And if it's not, first of all, you got to make sure that you're subscribed with notifications on so that you don't miss that stuff in the first place. Why are you laughing at me?
What a transition.
Gotta get that plug in there. Folks, in the first installment, we went to this store, what is it, Retro Gameplay right behind us, and in this one, we're gonna continue up and down this street of the historic video game district of Paris, which I didn't even realize existed before we got here, and do some game hunting. So without further ado, let's get in there. All right, friends, first stop of the day is Sat Elite Video Games. All right, so this store was a little bit smaller, not quite as interesting to me, honestly, as some of the other ones. Some of these PS2 Dragon Ball Z artworks were kind of interesting, but what really caught my eye was this little guy wedged behind a case, this Smash Bros. Ultimate game and controller and adapter bundle. I don't think this actually came with the original Switch, but nonetheless, put that thing right back where I found it and had a little chuckle. What you may notice about these PS3 games is that so many of them are brand new sealed. I think this is because the sealed craze hasn't quite hit Europe the same way, because the prices for these I thought were actually fairly decent, at least compared to what you could get them for here. Even check out this sealed Vita section, absolutely crazy. I mean, they're not wild titles, but still pretty cool to see. All right, so I didn't spend a ton of time in stop number 1, mostly because it was almost all modern stuff. There wasn't a ton of amazing stuff to see except for the crazy quantity of new sealed games. Up next, we're gonna go ahead and poke our heads into Hobby 1. Also, check out the line for this manga store. That's crazy. So I gotta say, the window displays here are starting out pretty strong with some sweet Superman, Joker figures, a whole bunch of Pokemon cards. Oh, look, it's the Great Ball version of the Pokeball that I have in my office. Those replicas are super nice. We've got a whole bunch of Dragon Ball figures here as well, so let's head inside and see what more they have. So this was something I totally didn't expect, an Animal Crossing Switch Lite bundle. I thought that was so cool, almost as cool as this modded Joy-Con Switch, styled after the GameCube, even right down to the C-Stick. I could not get over that. Then they also had these amazing statue controller holders that I didn't see at any other stop that we went to, with a ton of iconic characters. I just thought this was such a fantastic idea. Wondered why I hadn't seen them before, but the big draw of this store by far was definitely the statues, or statuettes, figures, I don't know what you would really call these things, but folks, they were pricey. This guy right here, 300 euros. Remember, it's even more in US dollars. These ones down here were a little interesting. I don't know if this is if Aragorn and the Tin Man had a baby, or what that is. Legolas 2, completely silver. Wasn't as big fans of those, but you'll see there were some mega figures in this place. Look at this one. What you have to realize is all those little X-Men, they're the size of regular action figures. So that should give you a little bit of an idea of the scale of this thing. And look at that, 2,300 euros, people. That absolutely blew my mind. You'd have to drop 2,500 plus US dollars on that guy. This Joker, their Joker statue selection was absolutely prime. Gotta be one of the best in the world. I'm totally talking out of my butt there. I've never seen another Joker statue collection, but every movie from the most recent ones to The Dark Knight to a comic version, I just have a real appreciation for the art of these statues. I seriously could have looked at those figures in there all day, but all I ended up picking up, because most of those figures would not have fit in my carry-on, is this Pineapple Crush, which I'm going to sample for the first time on camera here. Wow, that is really good. Here's to you, France. You make great Pineapple Crush. Next stop of the evening, full 7 games with a good number of displays out here on the street. Kind of cool to see. Unsurprisingly, looks to be a lot of their very low dollar stuff, and also unsurprisingly, a lot of it seems to have a good amount of water and sun damage. But dang, what a window display. Gotta respect that. So as you walk into this store, you can turn right immediately, and there's this huge stairwell that goes into a basement. And I look over and there's just this massive wall of amiibos and figures and stacked consoles. I don't know if these are broken GameCubes or what the deal is. They've got this cool Dragon Ball thing. And then a ton of consoles lining the windows. I'm guessing those ones were working. But I decided first thing to make my way down into the video game dungeon here. And oh my goodness, people. I mean, words fail me. At first, this might look a lot like some of the other glass cases and stuff that we've seen so far, but you'll see soon there's a lot of unique stuff in here, starting off with multiple shelves of Tiger handhelds, and then these awesome, folks, how sick do these black Sega Saturn cases look? I could not get over that. This one was interesting too. This is a limited edition skeleton Sega Saturn. 700 euros they were charging for this guy, but unfortunately looked it up, found one on eBay that was listed for $422, so that wouldn't have been a great deal. But folks, check out this retro treasure trove over here. I didn't know what half this stuff was. Video computer system, microvision, this arcade cabinet here, and then this crazy monitor with the speakers. This section of the store was like stepping back in time. It had a ton of accessories down here. And then what the heck is this? The Apple Pin for 500 euros? I mean, what even is this thing? Never heard of it before. Then we got this purple GameCube looking Playdia console. Never heard of that one either. And then right next to it, 6 super arcades. I mean, my mind was just blown over and over again, to the point where I could hardly even handle it, folks. You guys can probably tell. Had to get a little bit of Sega Genesis / Mega Drive stuff in here for you guys, because you know, not a Sega guy, but hey, I gotta throw some in there. And there were some high priced items. You saw there, $129, $129. These are not cheap games. I do love the light blue Dreamcast cases. We saw some of those in Geneva, and they had a ton here as well, including, as we're about to come up on here, a 1,400 euro. Look at my ugly finger just pointing at it there. 1,400 euros for that Dreamcast game. And then, oh my gosh, these Sega consoles. Each one of these had a custom Streets of Rage paint job, and they were selling them for only 100 euros. I thought that was a pretty decent deal for some custom artwork on those consoles. And then I know somebody in the comments is going to school me on this one. 350 euros for the Amiga 64. I couldn't tell you what that is. Oh, Puckman, look at that, a little Pac-Man handheld with the original name for Pac-Man on it, so you know that thing is old. That's probably the only piece of arcade trivia you'll ever hear on this channel, and most of you probably knew it already. I have to admit, being in this kind of a store in Europe, not only being on the other side of the world, but also looking at a bunch of stuff that was way before my time really made me feel like I have no idea about the history of the gaming world. So please educate me in the comments. I really don't mind when people do that, especially when it's in a nice way. Then they had these sweet console bundles too, this bright pink PS2, and then this looks like regular PS2 with a couple of pack-ins, some silver game pack-ins as well. And then a few board games and stuff up here, Owlboy, Far Cry. But the DS section was pretty spectacular as well. And look at that, Explorers of Sky is only like 40 euros there. It's more than double that here in the US. And of course, you guys know your boy is a total sucker for custom Game Boy stuff. I thought this section was so fantastic. We have the green Game Boy Micro, the Pikachu 3DS XL, some super cool Game Boy Advances. Oh my gosh, look at this Venusaur one. That may be the coolest GBA I have ever seen. I absolutely love that. Thought that the prices on these PSP Go's were not bad at 75 euros. They normally be, I think, a little bit more than that here in the States. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And then a really solid Vita section, honestly, at this store. Although to me, definitely the coolest thing in this cabinet was this pink, literally pink, PSP for 200 euros with the box and everything. Just never seen that variation before, at least not in the box, so I thought that was interesting. And look at these Game & Watch systems still in the box. One of the really cool things about these is not only are they super expensive, but you can see under the price stickers there, I think I zoom in on one here, they had notes about the condition about each little part of the system, like the plastic and the box and the inserts. I thought that was just really useful for collectors. This Pocket Pikachu kind of caught my eye as well, but I was like, for 50 euros, I know I can get one on eBay for like 35 bucks if I really want one, but in reality, it just would have been an impulse buy. Oh my gosh, people, check out this Booster Boy. As if original Game Boys weren't already clunky enough, you can get this accessory and have to have a full suitcase to bring your Game Boy to Walmart with you. By the way, did anyone else play their Game Boys while sitting in shopping carts? I would always beg my mom to let me bring my Game Boy to the store so that I didn't just have to, like, I don't know, look at the shelves and stuff as we were shopping in Jewel Osco or wherever the heck we were. Anyway, getting back to the games, they have a really nice NES section here. Let me know if you guys are spotting any favorites of yours. I was asking myself a little bit on this one how old it was, because the characters are older, but it seemed kind of like a newer set. I was also admiring all of the boxed Super Nintendo consoles here. They had some really cool pack-ins and variants. Also wanted to note a little pricing surprise here. Billy Hatcher, like a $70 game in the US, is 15 euros apparently here, as well as Wii Party, which goes for in the neighborhood of like 50 bucks here in the US. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to point those out to me. Oh my gosh, this city just keeps giving and giving when it comes to awesome video game stores. I've said it before, but unfortunately I'm super limited in carry-on space, otherwise I would totally be buying stuff at these places. But we're gonna go to one more before we close this episode out. We interrupt your regularly scheduled game hunting programming to bring you a specific pickup, which I actually got in Amsterdam, but I forgot to tell you guys about until now, and that is this lovely little book called The Pooh Perplex, which I have been enjoying ever since, in which it is discovered that the true meaning of the Pooh stories is not as simple as is usually believed, but for proper elucidation requires the combined efforts of several academicians of varying critical persuasions. And anyone who's been watching this channel for any amount of time knows that I am a huge Pooh guy, so to find this little gem for 5 euros in an Amsterdam bookstore in English, I just knew it was meant to be. It's been absolutely delightful. The last essay that I was reading, the guy is comparing A.A. Milne's work to like Proust and Faulkner and Kierkegaard, and it's just so delightful knowing that other people appreciate these books the way I do. Anyways, back to the rest of the game hunting. Think, think, think. Time to see what treasures lie in store at Trader Games. Alright, well, I hope you guys aren't getting tired of voiceover Caleb by now, because by golly, I am putting the work in on this video. But this store had some of the most unique consoles that I'm really excited to show you guys. Oh, and also check out this sweet Toy Story handheld. It seems like here in Europe they really appreciate Tiger. And oh my gosh, people, this Dragon Ball Z 3DS, and then also this slime from Dragon Quest, the Smash Bros. One, of course, we've seen. I couldn't even place this. What is that, another anime or something that one's based on? And we've got another Dragon Quest. I love seeing new 3DSs, folks. I cannot get enough of it. And then this is what I was talking about earlier, the Metal Gear Solid brand new sealed Fat PS3 I had no idea that packings like that existed, and it's so cool to see it in new condition. We've got Cabela's, we've got Fire Emblem. They had a bunch of cool bundles here. The Super Mario 3 poster was awesome. The Zelda from Breath of the Wild. Is it just me, or is she the best Zelda? I don't know. I'm probably biased because it's my favorite game. But Luigi's Mansion 3 down there. Also, I have to give another shout out to Erica on this one, because in a lot of the game stores, she came in with me primarily, not because she's actually interested in this stuff, but primarily to get these kinds of shots of me like actually looking at the shelves. So anyway, got to give her a little bit of love on that one, and I hope you guys appreciate these third-person views of me game hunting, because normally you don't honestly really get that. It's a lot of first-person stuff, but it's nice to mix it up sometimes. So again, Erica, thank you, you're the bomb, and congrats on graduating law school, babe. Then look at this Ni no Kuni Magical Edition Slim PS3. Again, had no idea that this thing existed, so when I saw it on the shelf, especially sealed, and granted, I'm not sure if they're resealing these or not, that might just be a cosmetic thing, but that was amazing. This Vectrex for 380 euros. Gotta be honest, I've never played a Vectrex, but I would really like to one day, and they just look super cool. What a great name as well. Folks, this shelf blew my mind. Not only is it $180 for that GameCube HDMI cord, which they also go for a similar amount, 180 euros here in the US, but so many of these games, anyone that says neuf, that means new, it means it's brand new sealed. And these prices were not nearly as high as I would have expected, nor as high as you would normally see in the US for sealed stuff. At Animal Crossing, it's kind of high, but honestly would still be higher here, I believe. Yeah, tons and tons of sealed GameCube stuff in this store, which I just thought was really cool and unique. Also, this made me laugh. Check this out. Carmen Sandiego, I had to do a double take. 65 euros for this game on the GameCube. Is it just me, or is that game like super cheap here? I know at least on like Xbox it's incredibly cheap. I'm pretty sure it is on GameCube too though, so that was just kind of funny for me to see. Had some decent prices on like main like Mario Party games and stuff like that. And then the other thing that made me chuckle is just how many Gundam games there are in Japanese. There were 4 of them sitting right here for between like 15 and 20 euros. So I mean, at least they're affordable, you know? All right, so just finished up in our last stop, even ended up buying myself a little Switch present, but first, we're gonna find a place to eat. And what better place to do it than Player One Bar and Grill? I mean, need I say anything more than this table with the Game Boy games, and look, complete with the man himself. Let's go! Okay, so obviously we went to a ton of killer stops today, but would it be a terrible thing to say that this one might have honestly been my favorite? This video game bar is just unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm sure they exist in the US, but I haven't seen them or been to one. I mean, these masks, these books that they had down here that you could just like read as you're drinking a beer or eating a hot dog, I thought were so fun. They even had this giant original Game Boy on the wall that actually worked. And yes, folks, you will see me here putting in the second highest score for Tetris on this machine, so anybody who says I'm a fake gamer, take that. Paris says otherwise. And every single detail of this place was just so on point, from the art to the streamer lights to this massive, incredible mural that you could just look at for a half hour. Then over just to the left here, there was this projected version of Donkey Kong, but that actually had real physical, like shelf-like trusses sticking out from the wall. Never seen anything like it. And then this is where we were going to sit. This is the massive NES controller that hooks up to that TV and is normally working, but it was unfortunately broken this evening, so we didn't get to do that. But then I noticed these other two tables here, which this one has a ton of Pogs and Mario, and this one has like a little Lego scene. I'm telling you guys, the detail was insane. This is my Pica Colada that I ordered, and Erica's Witch's Brew, which, I mean, what can you even say about that? Totally worth it. I think she swallowed some dry ice, but you know, that was only a couple days in the hospital. Then this place as well has a whole second level that you can crawl down into, or take the stairs if, you know, you are not a baby. These signs here, bonus points if you know what those are a reference to. These little hanging things were a little bit eclectic. We had some like Hogwarts owls, a skull, a gremlin, a dragon's egg. But anyways, first little area of this place here, I didn't recognize it first, but then the floating candles totally gave it away. It's the Great Hall of Hogwarts. They had a ton of themed rooms down here, which were super cool to just go in and explore each one, so I wanted to take you guys into them to just appreciate the depth of this place. This one, the theming is going to be super obvious, and honestly might be the most immersive part of the whole bar, just like chilling, drinking your drink on the Millennium Falcon with like the helmets in there, and even the paint job looks super old and faded and rusty. We got some like escaped alien over here, just so many, like this is like Disney levels of detail. This bar just completely blew my mind. Got a little Grogu sticking out there. And even down on the second level, they had this little arcade barrel that was 2-player. It had the screens facing each way so you could go head to head. They had some like talking painting-esque kind of things from Harry Potter, games stacked to the ceiling, some really cool certificates over here, a Zelda shield in the corner. I'm telling you guys, like, everywhere you looked there was some cool nerd reference, and I honestly just could not get enough. All right, folks, just had to wrap this video up before it gets dark out here. The game that I ended up buying was Unravel 2. This is a European exclusive for the Switch. It's like a co-op puzzler adventure kind of game that I thought looked pretty fun. Really excited to bring this one home and try it out. Meanwhile, I'm gonna get back into Player One and eat my hot dog and drink my Pica Colada, which I'm super excited about, folks. Thank you so much for coming along for this one. It was an absolute blast. And until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip.